Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with another Disabled Vet's Perspective. Today, we're going to talk about censorship. And if I had one of those little bleeps I could throw across the screen there, I would do that, because right now we are in a battle for our voice. It's a war that's being fought without any rounds being fired downrange, but they're definitely being fired in our direction by the digital army that's against the conservative people. Their tube has basically won this battle of censorship. And the reason I say that is because you can't say certain words in your broadcast, and when you're doing a podcast, or when you're out here trying to get the information to the people. And that in itself is an indication that you have lost your battle for censorship. For example, just doing a video right now on censorship. We'll probably get this video buried at the bottom of some list behind techniques for cleaning out litter boxes or something to that effect. It'll be way down, and it won't be brought to people's attention. It'll be suppressed, which is another form of censorship and an indication that we have lost this battle. Right now, I have 447 subscribers, and God bless all of you. That's the number that shows on my TheirTube account. But what happens is, I get as many as 10 at a time. All of a sudden, I'll get a burst of people coming to my channel, and then that will be in the morning. The afternoon, it will be back down to a whole number again. I almost hit the 450 mark. I had 449, and then they dropped it back down to 447. So they do that constantly. I don't know what my real number is of people that are joining me over here. But what I do know is that that's another form of censorship. Taking away the people that want to hear your voice. You're taking away the ability for, in my case, for me to speak, but you're also taking away a person's ability to listen, and that's censorship as well. Censorship can be the ability to speak. Good morning. Pretty good. If you're taking away a person's ability to listen and a person's ability to speak, those are both forms of suppression, both of them against the First Amendment. The First Amendment was the first because it was the most important. And think of this, if it's so easy for them to completely ignore the First Amendment and to go against it in every form, think how easy it would be to change all the other amendments. It's just, we have surrendered, supposedly, because we're dealing with it in a quiet and polite manner like conservatives do. But our quietness, our non-combative way of doing things is allowing for more of the suppression to continue. So the YouTube, or I should have said their tube, because they'll flag this because I mentioned their name. They got a new trick up their sleeve. They're doing a thing with conservative channels. I don't know if you've noticed this, but you can cross-reference it. But what they're doing is they're cutting the audio way down. So the volume, if you're, for example, listening to it on a cell phone, you have to turn the cell phone all the way up, and sometimes it takes earbuds because they've suppressed the audio so much that it's very difficult to hear. And they do that. They do the buffering. I know that if you watch my videos, they buffer like crazy. And you watch Here's a good example. American Joe. He's a huge channel, very popular. He's exploded in popularity, but YouTube, their tube, will buffer his show to death with the hopes that people lose interest and they get frustrated, oh, this damn thing's not playing right, and then they leave the channel. Well, the reason I know this is directed at us is because I've done a little research by looking at the uh, liberal channels. I'm not going to give them any credit because I can't agree with what they say, so I'm not going to promote their ridiculous point of view. But I have gone to liberal channels and watched their videos, and these things will play straight through without one blip. And if that's the case, then that's a pure indication that they are suppressing the voice of the conservative. So if you say keywords like Billary, and I can't even say it because as soon as I do, the video gets flagged. You got this thing with old Jeff and his airplane and the Caribbean islands. Can't say any of that because if you say the words, your video gets flagged. So the bottom line is we are losing this battle for our voice. And if we don't do something, then we will just be surrendering and, giving them the power to kill us off. It's kind of like going to the firing squad and handing the shooters their guns before you stand up against the wall. You're submitting, you're giving up, but the only thing I can think to do to counter this is mass emails to the YouTube corporation. I don't know if they'll read them, but just flooding their emails, flooding your elected representatives with emails, texts, tweets, anything that you can do. I mean, if you start doing it on social media, then they'll just disappear before they ever get there. But the only way that you can win in a war for your voice is by inundating the suppressors with emails and phone calls and things that they have a harder time getting rid of. They can't exactly delete a phone call. They can refuse to pick up, but just having the phone ringing off the hook all the time, that would be enough of annoyance, and that would let them know that we're here. So the bottom line with this video is that you have to become a thorn in the toe. You can take down the lion by just sticking a thorn between his toes. And we have to become the lion, or we're going to just be stepped on or eaten like a prey animal. So pay attention out here, get this word out. However, I don't know how to do it, but I know my videos are all the way down at the bottom. They're not being recommended, and my notifications aren't going out. So I say this because I am a tiny channel compared to the scheme of things. I have 447 beautiful people hanging out with me, and I appreciate the hell out of everybody. So I'm not complaining about my subscriber count. I mean, I'd love to get the word out to more people, but I realize that's next to impossible because I'm not a computer hacker, and all I am is a walking, talking head. But the masses can do things to make changes, and we have to start doing that, or we're just going to get run over. And anyway, I don't want to ramble on too much, but I just want you guys to be aware of what's going on. Pay attention to the volume on your conservative channels. Look at the view counts. Notice, go back and look at the view counts. Check out the fact that you can view a video Go away for 20 minutes and come back, and you'll see the view counts are down. All these are forms of censorship, and they're all showing signs that their tube is being successful in this war for our voice. They are winning this battle, and we have got to figure out how to change the tide. So get on that email these powers that be, get on the phone, call your representatives. I mean, call the representatives that don't represent you. Put calls into Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They're not going to answer, but we can fill up their voicemail and do whatever we have to do. I would say you can tweet them too, but with AOC, which is another word that'll get you banned, we know that as soon as somebody says something that hits her with some truth, then they get their tweet deleted and they get banned from her site, which is, in my opinion, should be illegal because she's an elected official. And if you're not threatening somebody, if you're just telling them they're wrong, then they should not legally be able to drop your Twitter account. They're telling the president that he can't. They're saying, oh, you can't drop these people that are insulting you constantly because you're an elected official. So it's good for them, but it's not good for the conservatives. But anyhow, if you all like what I have to say, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends about me. I would recommend for a little while maybe not hitting that bell. See if it tricks the algorithm. And, see if we can grow a little bit more and get some more of the word out there to the folks. Also, if you aren't subscribed to Marfugel News, this guy, he does a pretty good news program. They just had an earthquake in Seattle of 4.7. I did a video on earthquake readiness. I'd recommend watching that if you live in any areas where the ground moving is a threat. So go check out Marfugel News. Old Marf. He's a good guy, fun to listen to. So he's got a good show. But anyway, until next time, y'all, stay in the fight.